yesterday, a day after a Meitei mob burned down Kuki structures, including a church, over the killing of a 59-year-old man from the Meitei community. The latest breaking news here on News Now in Live. Manipur's Chief Minister Biren Singh's advanced security convoy has been attacked by suspected Kuki insurgents. He was en route to Jiribam on the Assam border. We have my colleague Kabir Naqvi now joining us with more on that front. Kabir, take it away. Tell us more. What's the latest that you're picking up?
Well, absolutely, Krishna. This just in being reported out of Imphal, but you rightly pointed out this happened in Jiribam, near Jiribam, which is near the Assam border. Jiribam is that place of flashpoint and conflict at the moment. A lot of clashes have taken place just in the last fortnight. Krishna, if you take a look at Jiribam, nearly 600 people have already fled the area, primarily Meitei community people, wherein you have mostly women and children that have made their way to Kachar, which is in Assam on the border point over there. Various refugee shelter points that have been created for them. The superintendent of Kachar was earlier heard saying that they're doing everything possible for the people that are fleeing the violence that is taking place in Jiribam. In Jiribam, just a couple of days back, you had a man's beheading that came to light. Body was completely mutilated, after which several mobile police stations and mobile towers were affected as well. Some police outposts that were burnt down as well. Jiribam certainly has been on the edge, Krishna, needless to say. And Chief Minister Biren Singh, earlier speaking to a reputed national daily, where some hard-hitting questions were asked to the Chief Minister, he categorically said that the situation is not normal, but the government is doing the best that it can. The centre knows exactly what the state is demanding of it, and the centre is doing all it can to help the people out as well. When Biren Singh was asked whether the verdict that has come in the recent Lok Sabha elections, mind you, this is happening after the May violence that took place in 2023, has been, it's going to be almost more than a year since something like that happened. It was a clean sweep for the Congress party. The BJP could not, open its account in Manipur, both the seats, inner and outer. And Biren Singh categorically said that, yes, I take full responsibility. What else is there to say? I can't avert my responsibilities in such a situation. He did not use the same words, but we've seen enough visuals across the internet that the hill state has certainly been on fire because of this ethnic strife. And Jiribam is that flashpoint area, Krishna, where the Chief Minister of the state of Manipur, Biren Singh, BJP leader, he was en route Jiribam when this ambush has taken place. Of course, sketchy details, we must tread carefully when we're looking at these kind of details of an ambush. When the picture gets clearer, we'll be coming back with more updates. But at this point in time, what we know is that the convoy was hit whilst it was on its way to the violence-hit Jiribam district. Multiple gunshots were fired at the vehicles of the security forces, who retaliated, and the security forces now are on record, Krishna, saying that the shootout is still on near the Cortland village, which is along a stretch of National Highway number 53. Some of those visuals and a video that has now come out and is doing the rounds, we've tried to throw that on the screen over there as well. At least one, Krishna, this is what we're picking up. At least one security personnel has suffered bullet injuries during the attack. This is being corroborated by the Manipur police as well. Chief Minister Biren Singh, who is yet to reach Imphal from Delhi, was planning to visit Jiribam to take stock of the situation of that district first. And whilst the Chief Minister was en route, this violence hit Jiribam district, Krishna, is when the ambush took place. Kuki militants is what sources are telling us at this point in time. But then again, nothing is set in stone. We must tread carefully. Details still sketchy that's coming out of Imphal.
Kabir Naqvi joining us with the latest on this breaking story that we're tracking over here. Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh's advanced security convoy has been attacked by suspected Kuki insurgents. He was en route to Jiribam, the flashpoint for all the violence. Jiribam on the Assam border of Manipur. Suspected Kuki insurgents did set homes of Meitei villagers in Jiribam on fire yesterday, a day after Meitei mob burnt down Kuki structures, including a church, over the killing of a 59-year-old man from the Meitei community. And the latest we're getting is that Biren Singh convoy has been attacked and one person from the security personnel has been injured. Chief Minister Biren Singh is yet to reach Imphal. Those are the latest updates we're getting. These are the latest visuals as well from the security convoy of Biren Singh. That's on your screens. The convoy that was ambushed by alleged Kuki insurgents. And now we have Kabir Naqvi standing by with Kartikeya Sharma as well. Kabir, talk to us. Kabir, Kartikeya, talk to us. What is the latest we are understanding of the situation?
With me here in the newsroom, Kartikeya, first and foremost, the Chief Minister's own convoy has been attacked. This is a special protection, convoy that has been attacked, and he wanted to go to Jiribam, which has been on the edge.
Let me clarify that the main convoy of the Chief Minister has not been attacked. The convoy, which is known as the Advanced Liaison, which means that there's an advanced convoy which clears the road, the advanced security convoy.
An escort of sorts.
Escort of sorts, where the Chief Minister himself is not sitting, that has been attacked. But for the Kukizo militants to attack the Chief Minister is a first, Kabir, because in last 1 year, no Kuki militant, no Sioux militant has directly attacked the convoy of a Manipuri Chief Minister. Secondly, it has happened in Jiribam. Jiribam runs across the Assam border. Now, entire police posts and the houses have been burned there, and 300 to 400 people have fled. Day before yesterday, the Chief Minister of Manipur had given an interview, and he said that they tried their best, but the problem is that the people were not willing to listen. And he said that he is not going to resign. He said that I'm going to take the full responsibility, but I'm not going to put in the papers, my papers, because it's the drug mafia which wants my job. The people who are against the actions that I have taken want my job. So he had, articulated his position. But this is going to take this war against drugs or war against illegal infiltration to a different level, because it's very interesting. In a national newspaper, Kabir, there is a report that has come in which the office of the Chief Minister is saying that they had given an advanced warning that there are 200 Kukizo militants in the Jiribam area itself. Now, if there were 200 Kukizo militants in Jiribam, why weren't extra forces deployed to flush them out? One. And the movement of 200 people is not small. Even a movement of 30 people is big enough. Movement of 200 people is akin to movement of a dalam of a 200 Naxalites in Dantewada region. They can take on the entire police force or entire regiment. It's a huge, when you talk about 200 people with heavy machine guns, that's big. And secondly, that report claimed that they wanted to attack another India Reserve Battalion, which means that you wanted even heavier ammunition, heavier weapons. So this is not only a grave provocation, but it also goes on to show that there's something wrong in the intelligence apparatus, and what Manipur requires is some sort of an infrastructure which is available in Kashmir, which is a joint command, jointness, in which the police, local intelligence, Assam Rifle, every security apparatus come together. So I wouldn't say that right now it's an embarrassment, it's a sort of a failure.
No, but Kartikeya, what do we make of this video that we're putting out for all our viewers? I mean, you're saying this is the escort, the advanced security liaison, the Bishnupur killings, NIA has made that first arrest also. Back then, sophisticated weapons were being used. And right now as well, you're targeting the advanced security liaison. What does that say about the situation in Manipur?
One, when you say that advanced security liaison has been attacked, it means that someone has information. It means that someone is passing information about the Chief Minister of Manipur to the militants. How is that possible? It is a state where you have connectivity issues. It is a state where you can snap internet immediately. So it's an intelligence failure. The Chief Minister being attacked is a gross violation. Heads should roll. In fact, I would say the heads should roll if the convoy of the Chief Minister has been attacked, because you're not attacking a person, you're attacking the symbol of India's sovereignty there. Whether you like Biren Singh, whether you dislike Biren Singh, whether you like his practice, whether you like his administration, but he represents the might of the Indian state. So attacking Biren Singh is attacking the sovereignty and the symbol of the Indian state. So heads must roll as to how Chief Minister convoy is being attacked. Secondly, the alarm bell should ring in center that the situation is so out of control that they are daring to attack a Chief Minister. If you attack the Mukhya of a household, you will have some retaliation. That is the average thinking. अगर आप किसी टॉप के आदमी के पास जाएंगे तो आपको पता है ना कि पूरी की पूरी फौज आ जाएगी. So this is how the Kukizo militants have become so emboldened. Third, they are, the government is trying to fence the entire border, but you can't fence the border, which is 500 kilometers long, in 27 days. And the Chief Minister himself is saying that, the situation is compounded by the Golden Triangle, which is the narco-terrorism. When the entire world couldn't solve the narco-terrorism issue, which funded Taliban and they're back in power in Afghanistan, or the narco-terrorism issue of these Colombia, which is South America, you expect narco-terrorism to be resolved in 41 days or 400 days, where half of the Myanmar state is not under Myanmar's army's control. 40% to 30% of the state is under the militia, and they are growing this opium to finance their own wars and battle.
Laos, Cambodia, it's a triple threat.
Absolutely. So geopolitically, it's very, very, I would say, a tense event that has happened to attack the Chief Minister. When was the last time a Chief Minister was attacked? When was Pema Khandu attacked? And I would say, this attack has also one potential. Whether people like it or not, he symbolizes sort of a Methi might, whether you like it or not. Now, this sort of a thing would reconsolidate, ghettoize entire Manipur again. So it's a very grave issue. That
let's take a step back for the viewers. Help them connect the dots in retrospect as well. Ek saal ho gaya. It's been May already. 1 year of this, ethnic strife that has been playing. NIA has made its first arrest. That means that the central agencies are also moving, in the right direction. You pointed out that the porous border continues to exist. On top of that, Chief Minister was hit with some hard-hitting questions, and he made sure to categorically come out and say that he's not going to be stepping down. I'm trying to understand, with this attack on the advanced security liaison, the coming days, the strife that we've been seeing, some sort of, bombs were laid on the wounds of the people. But do you think violence is now going to escalate in the hill state?
You see, I am worried because, this is not the first time a Chief Minister has been attacked. Biren Singh was killed. Biren Singh was killed by terrorists. Former Chief Ministers have been killed by terrorists. Sitting Chief Ministers have been attacked by terrorists in this country. And in Northeast, it's even more problematic because, those terror systems can operate across the border easily. The borders of the Western Front are fenced. You have a problem, but they're probably better fenced. In entire Northeast, the border is not fenced. The China border, it's contested. It's contested. The Nagaland border, you have a question of a Greater Nagaland. With the Kuki-Zo community, the community overlap on the Myanmar side. And then you have a state called Manipur, which has double problem. You see, you have to also see it from the point of view from Meitei community. If Meitei community or the Meitei culture is the center of the Manipuri identity, and if someone says that, a part of it belongs to Nagaland, and then some other community says, no, I want sixth administration with judicial powers, obviously majority will feel that you are trying to break Meitei, sort of a Manipuri state. That is why when Chief Minister said that I will not allow Manipur to be broken down, he was also articulating a very genuine sentiment of the Manipuri people. How can you break the state? And then when you have an attack, this is going to be very counterproductive. Now the larger issue would be the average Kuki-Zo who was, who was trying to move back into the, I would say the mainstream, would be too afraid to come back because, every
This hurt the reconciliation process.
Absolutely, because you have hit the Chief Minister. You have hit the Chief Minister. What you basically require is some sort of a joint command which exists in Jammu and Kashmir, which Chief Minister is part of it. What is joint command? There is a meeting every day in which the IB, SIB, LIU, police, CISF, CRPF, the paramilitary forces, the regular army, infantry, generals, DGP, they all come and say, well, this is our grid, this is what we are going to do, and these are going to be our action. Now, this is something what is required in Manipur because if you don't do it now, I would not even use the word militants. I would say these armed terrorists would be emboldened, and I'm sure that half of them would be outsiders because no one from within Manipur would dare do something like that unless and until being emboldened by outside agencies to attack a sitting Chief Minister of the Indian state. It's not a joke. You have attacked the sitting Chief Minister of an Indian state. You have attacked the symbol of India's sovereignty in Manipur. I think it from the national point of view, national perspective, not Delhi's perspective. It's a national perspective. Yes, BJP has lost the state, 2 elections, 2 MPs have lost, but the fact of the matter is that you have attacked someone who has won the elections. And I think this is a a very worrisome phenomena. Army, Assam Rifle, they need to sit down, because Chief Minister in his interview, Kabir, had said one thing, that Manipuri security perception is divided in communities.
Right.
Maitis feel that Assam Rifle is not doing a good job, they side with the Cookies. And the Cookies feel that the Manipuri commandos should not be allowed there. That is why you remember, Mera Paibis would stop the movement of Assam Rifle.
The army.
And the Cookies would not cooperate with the police, the commandos. I think this should be immediately...
So now that there's a clear divide, I mean, take a look at what's happening on the other side. The people on the ground that are having to go through this turmoil sort of a situation, more than 600 people have already fled into Assam. And these are people that were staying in Jiribam. What does that say about the days that are to come? I mean, it's a double whammy, triple whammy maybe for Biren Singh.
If people are fleeing out of Jiribam, it's even more worrisome. It's like ethnic cleansing. If people leave their home when Chura Chandpur burned, the people left Chura Chandpur. It's like ethnic cleansing. If when riots happened in Bombay, what happened? The re-ghettoization of Mumbai took place. There were localities where now today only Muslim lives, and there are locality in Mumbai there only Hindus are living, and the flats are not even given to either of the community. Why? Because you fear the other. Similarly, if the people have fled across Assam border, we as the Indian state have failed to do a basic job, deterritorializing people within and creating refugees inside your country is the biggest issue, I would say. It means that you are not in control of the narrative, not the law and order. I mean, so are we creating internal refugees? We are creating internal refugees here. I think it's a very problematic thing. Why should people leave? It means that they don't trust the law and order machinery. That is why people are leaving here and there and seeking succor and comfort within their community. I think the state must come down on this. It has to come down on this. The attack on Biren Singh has to be criticized in one simple language, which is you need to condemn it. But how it has happened, the heads must roll. To attack a chief minister like that, I would say it's crossing a Rubicon.
Right, and I think the militants also wanted to send across a message. I want to put this question to you. Is the timing suspect here? Because this has happened after a confident answering Chief Minister Biren Singh, who said that I'm not stepping down.
There are ways of looking at things. It's like that film Vantage. You can look at the same incident from the 8 point of views. Yesterday, when the oath taking was taking place, when I was sitting with my colleague Brijesh in the studio, the Riyasi attack took place on the Hindu pilgrims. So that is one perspective. When the Prime Minister of the country and the entire cabinet is taking oath, you kill pilgrims. You attack them. They die, 33 people are injured and 10 people have died. And when the Manipur, a state which is in deep unrest in northeast India, he gets attacked. From the national perspective point of view, it's a great failure. I would say from the perspective of Delhi, it's a great failure that when the new government has formed, the two areas have come under attack, the Chief Minister himself and the Hindu pilgrims. But in this case of Jiribam, it is also a great matter of, I would say, worry that the people have to flee. There are visuals where people have to, I would like those visuals to come where people are fleeing. Those bites should be played out where, why people have to flee Jiribam. If there has to be some sort of an investigation. It has come out in Hindu. If someone gives me that newspaper, Tabassum, give me that newspaper, it's there. So, मेरी table पे पड़ा है, I'll read out. And what the Chief Minister has said. Those are the notes which have been accessed by a newspaper. And if that has gone to the local police, and in the local police को बताया गया है कि वहाँ 200 armed miscreants हैं, तो उन 200 armed miscreants को पकड़ा क्यों नहीं गया है?
I'm also trying to understand, if we know that Jiribam is, engulfed with these kind of militants, why did the Chief Minister, without, prior information, intelligence reports, because what we're learning is that the Chief Minister hadn't even made his way back to Imphal, wanted to, stop, wanted to do a small rendezvous at Jiribam.
Now, let me read this. This has been published today. So, what has been published? As the homes and the police posts were torched and the hundreds displaced in Jiribam district of Manipur over the past few days, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh sought a report from the state police on security measures taken to contain the violence. Police sources say there is sufficient security in the region, adding that the recent incidents appear to be motivated and engineered. So, this has appeared in a national newspaper. And what does the report says? The report says the Chief Minister office had written letters on January 15th. January 15th.
Wow.
27
half a year back.
To the Director General of Police and Manipur Security Advisor, apprising them of the movement of 200 armed Kukizo militants in area bordering Jiribam. A state government source said that the week's violence erupted in the district which borders Assam, despite CMO informing the police about the possibility of an attack almost 6 months ago. Now, अभी कौन किसकी बात नहीं सुन रहा है? पहली चीज तो ये है. The January 15 note addressed to the DGP, and this is being reported by the national newspaper Hindu, accessed by, and it has been reported that 200 Kukizo militants have moved from Churachandpur, reached Faltoi village, old and new Kaifundul area of Tamiljong district bordering Jiribam district. In this regard, the DGP is requested to take all necessary security measures to prevent any untoward incident and respond to threats posed by the group in view of the prevailing situation in the state. Another letter, January 31, said reports have been received regarding the possibility of an attempt to loot arms and ammunition of 7 IRB. As I was telling this to you, Kabir, India Reserve Battalion located in Jiribam. The police department is requested to take all necessary steps in this regard. Now, if this is available...
Clearly an internal rot that's widening.
Absolutely. There's some sort of an action needs to be taken that the convoy of the chief minister gets attacked. It's not that people are hurt or not. Someone has been emboldened enough. It's like, you are trying to attack Minister of Defense, MOS Defense in Delhi. Someone has been emboldened enough to do something like that without the consequence of the retaliation.
What next, Karthik? What needs to happen now? Like, if the heads aren't turning and this has come to this kind of a situation, it's not mountains over molehills anymore.
Someone needs to take responsibility how the chief minister convoy has been attacked. It's one thing, it's plain and simple. Heads need to roll, you need to have advanced intelligence. It means that they were assembled there. Secondly, there has to be an inquiry what sort of weapons were used to attack the chief minister. You are attacking the chief minister, what sort of weaponry was used? That's the second thing. The third thing is, how were they aware of the fact that the chief minister is moving towards there? In any militant infested area, chief ministers, convoy, top officials, their movement is a top secret. It's a top secret.
You know what, Karthik, I've been told there's a superintendent reaction. Let's quickly play that out for the viewers and then we'll come back to you for more.
देखिए, अब 4 दिन हुआ जो मणिपुर में पहले इंसिडेंट हुआ था, उससे लेके अभी लगातार हम लोग हमारे जो एरिया है, बॉर्डरिंग एरिया है, हर जगह पे हम लोग पुलिस डिप्लॉयमेंट रखा है. हमारा स्पेशल कमांडो फोर्सेस हैं, कमांडो फोर्स डिप्लॉयमेंट किया हुआ है. हर जगह पे ये लोग LRP कर रहे हैं और वो लोग वहाँ पे पेट्रोलिंग कर रहे हैं हर जगह पे. और हमारा जितना लोग हैं यहाँ पे, दो लोग, दे आर ऑल पीस लिविंग पीपल, पीस लविंग पीपल, दे आर लिविंग वेरी पीसफुली. और पब्लिक भी हमको कोऑपरेट कर रहे हैं. हालांकि आप देखिए कि कुछ लोगों ने जहाँ पे वहाँ के जहाँ पे गड़बड़ हुआ था वहाँ से काफ़ी लोग इधर आ गए हैं, नियर अबाउट 600 पीपल, और दे हैव टेकन शेल्टर इन सम ऑफ देयर रिलेटिव्स प्लेसेस. और हम लोग लगातार इसके निगरानी में लगे हुए हैं. हम खुद इसको विजिट कर रहे हैं, हर जगह पे हम लोग देख रहे हैं. और लोगों का हम आपके माध्यम के जरिए हम यही बताएंगे कि आप लोग जो र्यूमर्स मंग रहे हैं उसको आप अहमियत न दें, और जो भी कुछ अलग अलग मतलब नेगेटिव जो बातें लोग सोशल मीडिया में जो स्प्रेड हो रहा है इसको ऊपर आप ध्यान ना दें. यहाँ एवरीथिंग इज़ वेरी पीसफुल. यहाँ पे हमारा असम साइड में जो लखीपुर सब डिवीज़न है, इसका जिरीघाट थाना हो, लखीपुर थाना हो या जयपुर थाना हो, हर जगह पे हमारा डिप्लॉयमेंट है. और लोग यहाँ पे एवरीथिंग इज़ पीसफुल नाउ. कोई यहाँ पे कोई इंसिडेंट नहीं है. और हमारा यही लक्ष्य है कि जो इंसिडेंट सीमा के उस पार में, जैसा मणिपुर साइड में जो हुआ है, वो हमारे यहाँ ना हो. यहाँ पर यहाँ लोग पीसफुली रहे, इसके लिए हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
Well, all right, Karthik, a couple of things that have come out. First and foremost, let's tell the viewers that we're putting out these fresh visuals of the advanced security liaison, the escort rather, as it were, that was leading the pack, leading the convoy that was actually attacked, which you can see on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we just heard the superintendent of Kachar, that's also at the border point of Jiribam, who it seems like the Assam government is more, is actually more agile, swift in helping out, the people that are fleeing Jiribam.
Yes. One, people are fleeing Jiribam because there is an ethnic divide. So one community is fleeing Jiribam. That is why, if you look at the leaders of the Meitei Heritage Society and the Delhi Meitei Coordinating Committee have raised the questions about the torching of the Meitei homes, and immediately after they are evacuated by the security forces. So it's the houses of the Meiteis that are being torched. And and this report says, as the tensions rose in the areas joining Tamiljong district, also imposed a curfew in the village along Jiribam border, with several Kukizo civil society organizations issuing statements condemning the reactionary violence in the villages. They maintain that the local people have mistaken Singh's killers to be from one community without any proof. Now, that's not the issue. Issue is that the ethnic violence has not been controlled in Manipur. Ethnic violence continues to flare up. What happened in context of beheading was desacralization of a body.
Right.
You know, it's a statement. Any killing has to be abhorred and condemned. But when you desacralize a body, you are trying to send the message that this is what we feel about you. It's like Rwanda. Otherness. It's just war, people kill each other. But when you inflict those scars on the body, it is not on your body. It's on the civil society. It's representative
It's mutilation
violence.
of the mind as well.
Yes, it's a mutilation of a mind. It's a representative violence. So that is one. Secondly, the Jiribam has brought focus back on the fact that the peace that prevailed in Manipur was shallow, was superficial. It didn't go down because for peace to come, there needs to be reconciliation.
Right.
People should live together. That is why you had Gandhi in Noakhali. Then the peace came because it required some sort of reconciliation. Even in South Africa, Nelson Mandela made a Truth and Reconciliation Committee. There were no trials in South Africa. No one ran after the whites. But it was commission of the crime that was inscribed so that it can never be done again. What has happened in Manipur requires reconciliation and the process of justice. What is happening is retribution. What is happening is revenge. What is happening is fight. And the problem is that those weapons which have been taken are all out there. People forget, if you recall last year, how many reserve battalion weapons were looted?
Right.
How many have been brought back? Where have they gone? These are the issues which need to be factored, one. And secondly, I think this sort of a emboldened attack on Chief Minister is something which is really deeply saddens me, because attacking a convoy is sending a message that no one is out of reach. You see, if you attack a Chief Minister's convoy, what message are you giving? The message you are giving is, कोई आपके reach से बाहर नहीं है.
And nobody is safe in Manipur.
No one is safe in Manipur. That is why now the Chief Minister will have to work doubly hard to give this message that everyone is safe in Manipur. Because that message needs to go out. Tomorrow, if you attack the person who represents the state itself and he is being attacked, there has to be some sort of a message. I'm not saying that there needs to be a retaliation, but there needs to be some sort of justice.
And there seems to be a clear lack of communication. I mean, you've got Security Advisor Kuldeep Singh. He's also there in Manipur.
As an individual, I don't care. You know, what really matters to me is this attack needs to be responded to. Because if you can attack a car of the Chief Minister's convoy, it's like sending a message. It's like Russian submarine without nuclear weapons in Havana. It's a message. It doesn't need nuclear nukes there. It's a message. The next time we'll do this. It's a message they have sent. Even if it's one bullet. Even if it is one bullet is a message. Nothing else. It's a message. And the message is that you have 200 people there. And the message is that they are moving with weapons, logistics, intelligence in place.
But, I mean, playing the devil's advocate here, isn't another bullet going to be, another step away from reconciliation?
It doesn't make a difference. It's not about bullet. You have actually attacked the person who represents the sovereignty of the Indian state, the Chief Minister. One, the state needs to respond. State needs to be seen responding. And states need to be respond in a fair manner. When I say fair manner, you need to get after these 200 militants, whether they are Kuki, whether they are Zo, whether they belong to any community. It doesn't make a difference because they have gone after the symbol of the Indian state. That's one. And secondly, I think Centre really needs to
I was just coming to that. How do you think the Centre should react to this?
They should just wake up and smell the coffee. They should just wake up and smell the coffee. Whatever.
6 months back, when that letter was written of a possible attack, 6 months,
They should
Kartikeya.
just wake up and smell the coffee. Things are out of hand. They need to be taken in. The powers need to be redistributed. Responsibilities need to be readjusted. Things need to be done in a manner which justice can be given to the Kukis, to the Nagas, to the Metis. And secondly, we need to resolve those unresolved issues. You can't have issues like Sioux, is Sioux agreement in place or not? I don't know as a journalist. What is the position of the government right now on the various schedules? Whether they have it or not, they should say you will not get it because there's a 5th schedule in place. The only difference between the 6th and the 5th schedule is in the 6th schedule you have judicial powers, in the 5th schedule you don't have judicial powers. And the Kukis were on the 6th schedule. So you say that. You say that you're not going to get it. Secondly, the majority community must be given the signal that the integrity of the Manipuri state will remain intact. You cannot create a complex in the majority community, and you need to go to the cookies and tell them that you belong to this country. But it doesn't mean that you can allow your kin cousins from Myanmar to come and stay there, because they are foreigners. Those lines need to be drawn, and it has to be ensured that the ghettoization of the Manipur does not take place. That is the most important fundamental thing which requires to be done.
Well, too many sips between the cup and the lip, Karthikeya. Here, easier said than done. I'm trying to understand here if the value of tolerance is going to go down. I mean, I'm looking at a possible future where, I mean, Manipur is completely on fire.
I really don't know whether the value of the tolerance need to go down or not. I think the might of the Indian state, the prestige of the Indian state, the value of the Indian state needs to be there. And the value of the Indian state is you cannot attack the convoy of the sitting chief minister. There has to be a response. There has to be some sort of a response to this. There has to be a clarification by government that how did this happen? How far was the first convoy? How far was the first convoy from the second convoy? What was the distance between the car that was hit by a bullet and the other convoy? What was the distance between them? Where was the chief minister at that point of time? How did they know that the chief minister convoy was going there? How did they know that they would be in Jiribam at what time? How did they know that they started from Imphal? How did they know that the chief minister convoy would be traveling at
These
that
are all
particular
intelligence
road?
questions. These are all intelligence.
These are procedures. The standard operating procedures are without letting the person know that a VVIP dignitary is coming. That is the SOP. You have the secondary road. So there has to be some sort of a clarification. I hope the chief minister is safe. But more than the safe, I think the might of the state needs to be projected there. And secondly, these issues are irrelevant because they are important turning issues when it comes to war. They are turning point issues. Always remember, you have a turning point issue. What was the turning point issue in the World War? The Gallipoli. When Winston Churchill lost his admiralty, when Kamal Mustafa won, that's Gallipoli. So every war has a turning point. This is a turning point. This is a turning point that you are, something like this has happened. So there needs to be a clarification, restructuring, a message needs to go out. This needs to be taken very, very seriously. One bullet counts. It's a message. It's your house. And someone fires a bullet and just goes away.
This particular attack was a message in itself, Karthikeya.
Simple as that. So there has to be a message from the state. That's the point I'm trying to make. Where is the message? The message needs to come fast and quick and cold.
And harsh.
And calculated. And the sort of exodus which is taking place from Jiribam needs to be stopped. A forest naka has been burned, houses have been burned, police chowkis have been burned. This cannot be allowed. You can't have police station everywhere. But then the might of the state needs to be such that this cannot be allowed to take place again and again and again.
All right then, this cannot happen again and again. After the dust of the condemnation settles, what are you hoping and expecting for? I mean, do you see the central ministers making a beeline to the hill state?
I really don't think that the central ministers will make a beeline to the home state. I'm definitely sure that there will be some meeting. Some accounting will be taking place in Delhi. Some accounting will take place in the Home Ministry. Some accounting will take place in the Imphal Valley. There has to be a conversation what has happened. But for Jiribam to be unstable was one thing. The understanding that the militants are moving is the another thing. But then when you start attacking the convoy of the chief minister, what are you saying? That you cannot move outside Imphal?
Kabir, I have a question for
That's
Karthikeya.
the message you are giving, na? That if you are outside Imphal, we will attack you. I think that message needs to be sorted. The chief minister of Manipur, any state can go anywhere because he represents that sovereignty. That's the message you are giving. That is why it's a worrisome thing. That is why it really needs to be addressed. Because it's not about him. It's about any person who's sitting in that chair. Right. Whoever sits in that chair represents Indian sovereignty.
Right.
Condemn this particular attack, this ambush on
Kabir,
the Manipur Chief Minister, Krishna. That's what we're picking up. That's the discussion that we've had here in the newsroom.
Right. Kabir, I have one more question for Karthikeya over there. Karthikeya, right. We have a Prime Minister who's just been sworn in. We don't have the details of the cabinet of ministers, we don't know who's the Home Minister as of now, but we do have a new Prime Minister. Do you think that this matter at this stage, as you're rightly pointing out, a sitting Chief Minister's convoy has been attacked? Is it time for the Prime Minister himself to step into the matter?
Is it time for the Prime Minister to himself step into the matter? And mind you, Kartike, Biren Singh answered that question in that interview as well.
You see, I think before the Prime Minister, I think the ball is in the Home Minister's court. I think the Home Minister should step into this matter. Ultimately, even it's a matter of defense. The Defense Minister can step into this matter. Why should Prime Minister step into every matter? Defense Minister, Home Minister, Intelligence Bureau, RAW Chief, they should step into the matter first. That the sitting Chief Minister's convoy has been attacked. That's one. Secondly, what is really required is that the movement of resolution, you should not, it's like this. You shouldn't be governing. You should also seen to be governing. It's not you are administrating law. You should also be seen to be administrating law. It's not that you should be seen to be working against the miscreants. You should also be seen to be working against the miscreants. I think those messaging needs to be right. Those narratives need to be set very, very right in Manipur. Because if you look at Manipur, you have created refugee islands. You have created refugee islands outside Manipur also. I recall 7 months ago, even the Meitei students got attacked in Assam, so it's not limited to Manipur. There is a Kuki Manipuri Meitei diaspora. So, we cannot allow a state to have an impact on the larger security fabric of the entire country. It is worrisome, and that is why I'm saying that what has happened in Jiribam, to send this message, if the Chief Minister goes out, you'll send a bullet flying into a convoy. Even one car that might have been 10 kilometers away from the Chief Minister's car, 20 kilometers away. Right. But that was part of the convoy. So you are sending a message. It requires a message to be sent. And the message should be that this will not be tolerated. There are certain things when red lines are crossed, they are never tolerated. And I think here a Rubicon has been crossed. A Rubicon has been crossed. Because then you are saying that you can't move out of Imphal. You can't move out of it. It's like, can someone say that LG in Kashmir cannot move out of Srinagar? Can that be tolerated? Can that be tolerated? It cannot be tolerated.
Not just the sovereign office, Kartike, the normal people as well.
It cannot be tolerated. That is the point I'm trying to make. It cannot be tolerated. There are larger issues. There are larger issues of reconciliation. There are larger issues of mistrust. There are larger issues of violence. But if you look at the anatomy of violence, the one thing which is common, it is like a thread. It has created homogeneous areas. It has ended ethnic complexities. It has created Meitei colonies and the Kuki colonies and the Naga colonies. I think that goes against the secular fabric of this nation. The secular fabric of this nation, which is multicultural, which is embedded in a preamble in a constitution, allows everyone and anyone to stay wherever they like. But if you say that these are the safe areas, this is problematic. It's problematic in the way India is conceived. So whoever is trying to do that, the state should be on their head.
So if the ball is in the Home Minister's court and an action and a message has to be sent back in the Centre's court, what are you expecting is going to happen in this case?
I think there has to be some sort of a call. Obviously people must have called him, asked him what has happened. But I would say that some work needs to be done.
Kabir
in his
and
interview,
Kartikeya, stay with us. We have Suhas Chakma, director, writes. We have now Suhas Chakma joining us on the phone. And Suhas Chakma, the simple question is that a sitting Chief Minister has been attacked. 200 people are supposed to be there with arms and ammunition and logistics. This is a serious situation. This is a national security issue at this stage.
Well, absolutely. If the Chief Minister of the state cannot secure his own security, you can imagine the situation of the common people in those areas. And therefore, I think this is something where the center should have intervened long time back to ensure that at least the basic security is restored. If the basic security is not restored, then whatever time you have in terms of peace and security in the area, it usually or it gradually fizzles out. So every 1 month you have new incident, and we suddenly see there are increasing incidents of violence, and this will continue unless the center takes into account that this is not a situation which can be any longer handled by the Chief Minister, because the Chief Minister is not secure himself. If that's the case, then obviously there has to be some intervention from the central government, because this will have ramifications outside Manipur.
Right, and this is taking place this has taken place in near Jiribam, a border state with Assam. So many people from Jiribam already fleeing into Assam because of the unending violence over there. The question here is that what kind of response do you think is the right way to go at this stage, considering the fact that now it has come up to the point where the sitting chief minister has been attacked?
Well, I would say I think, enough time has passed. The elections in the country have taken place. It's time for the central government to, declare president's rule in the state, ensure that, security is equally enforced with respect to the communities or the offenders. Then, ensure that in 6 months' time you start some kind of a dialogue process where the communities can sit together, at least to begin with, to live peacefully. And that is what it is, because at the end of the day, it should not be too difficult to engage in a process where the civil society groups, could be brought in from both sides. And this center already has some sort of agreement with the Kuki armed groups. The other groups from the Meitei side could be taken into account. It could be worked out. But, you cannot any longer live in a situation where there is no unified command structure in terms of security. And that's the biggest problem, because only the day before yesterday, the chief minister had cast aspersion on the central security forces. So if the center and the state security forces, if the chief minister of the state says, the central security forces are not doing their job, then, it's very unfortunate. It's time that there is an unified security structure under the command of the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Right, but there were warnings that such a attack could happen much earlier, and those warnings seem to have clearly been ignored. There is something wrong with the security apparatus on ground in Manipur.
Well, see, you have to understand the topography, because these are, tropical areas, the hills, etc. Any armed group could, in a way, ambush at any place, anywhere, when you are traveling such a long distance from Imphal to Jiribam. So it should not come as a surprise. And also, please remember, when the chief minister had visited Churachandpur prior to the start of the riots, then there, the venue was vandalized and etc. So these are not new things. So if you take into account the tropical areas, topography of the area, anybody, a group of 10 people, 7 people could come and disturb it. So that fear is always there, and that has come out to be true.
And clearly, this attack shows the fact that whatever peace that existed in Manipur supposedly was extremely shallow, extremely superficial. There was no real peace that existed. I mean, you just had a 59-year-old man from the Meitei community, who's been killed, and then there's a Meitei mob which burned down Kuki structures. In response, and then you have suspected Kuki insurgents setting home of Meitei villages in Jiribam on fire yesterday. So there is actually no peace on ground.
There has not been any peace on the ground, just because the incidents of violence are not taking place. People tend to believe that there is a peace, and those who are supporting the government line, and they have been trying for the last month and a half or 2 months, trying to create an impression that people got tired of the violence, and the violence has gone down, there is peace. There is no peace. It just takes one particular incident, and I can tell you that this particular incident which took place in Jiribam will take months, because Jiribam was not as affected in the earlier period as it is today, and because it is bordering Assam and the communities in a much more, you could say, both the communities have been living together in the area. I mean, it will take some time. So that's what I was saying. It takes only one incident, one brutal incident to get back to the same situation. So that's why I think you need a holistic approach. You cannot wait for the people to get tired of killing each other. It has never stopped anywhere in the world. I mean, it is not going to stop in Manipur. Security situation needs to be taken into account. There are adequate security forces, but there is no coordination at this stage, and it's not our word. It's the chief minister who is saying that central security forces are not doing their job. So you can imagine how much distrust between the security forces.
Right, clearly there is a huge communication, coordination and trust issue between security forces. How much would you, put the blame on the security forces from the center and their lack of coordination with the ones in the state?
No, I don't think central security forces would be blamed or they are responsible in any manner. Because the central security forces, if they want to enforce, why would they take side of anybody? I mean, they are not part of the local communities. They have been, sent from different parts of the country. They are completely impartial. So I think to cast aspersion on the central security forces itself is very unfortunate and should not be done by a sitting chief minister of the state when your own party is in power. So when you raise or when you cast aspersion on the central security forces, chief minister is directly pointing towards the home minister Amit Shah, because at the end of the day, the Assam Rifles who are deployed, they are under the command of the home ministry, although at the operational level it's the Indian army which is leading them, but the Assam Rifle is a unit under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So that's why I am saying it's very unfortunate. I do not see any central security forces deployed in Manipur being partisan in any manner.
Right, but not about being partisan, but the fact of the matter is there's complete lack of coordination and communication on ground that has led to a situation like this.
No, the lack of coordination arises because at this point of time, the command structure is not very clear, and at certain point of time last year, I think it was in May and June, they had said that the central government will take care of the security in the hill areas and the Manipur police will take care of the security in the valley areas. So this is a creation, this arrangement is a creation by the state government and the central government. So if there is a problem in terms of coordination, then you have to create a structure in which the home minister, the home ministry and the chief minister of Manipur have not bothered to take it, because they just let the situation die on its own, which is not happening and will not happen.
Right, Suhas Chakma there joining us and helping us understand the graveness of this situation. Really, Suhas Chakma, Director, Rights and Risks Analysis Group. Suhas, stay with us. Let's now quickly listen to what the Superintendent of Police had to say.
देखिए, अब 4 दिन हुआ जब मणिपुर में पहले इंसिडेंट हुआ था, उससे लेके अभी लगातार हम लोग हमारे जो एरिया है, बॉर्डरिंग एरिया है, हर जगह पे हम लोग पुलिस डिप्लॉयमेंट रखा है। हमारा स्पेशल कमांडो फोर्सेस हैं, कमांडो फोर्स डिप्लॉयमेंट किया हुआ है। हर जगह पे ये लोग LRP कर रहे हैं और वो लोग वहाँ पे पेट्रोलिंग कर रहे हैं हर जगह पे। और हमारा जितना लोग हैं यहाँ पे, दो लोग, दे आर ऑल पीस लिविंग पीपल, पीस लविंग पीपल, दे आर लिविंग वेरी पीसफुली, और पब्लिक भी हमको कोऑपरेट कर रहे हैं। हालांकि आप देखिए कि कुछ लोगों ने जहाँ पे वहाँ के जहाँ पे गड़बड़ हुआ था वहाँ से काफ़ी लोग इधर आ गए हैं, नियर अबाउट 600 पीपल, और दे हैव टेकन शेल्टर इन सम ऑफ देयर रिलेटिव्स प्लेसेस। और हम लोग लगातार इसके निगरानी में लगे हुए हैं। हम खुद इसको विजिट कर रहे हैं, हर जगह पे हम लोग देख रहे हैं। और लोगों का हम आपके माध्यम के जरिए हम यही बताएंगे कि आप लोग जो र्यूमर्स मंगर है उसको आप अहमियत न दें, और जो भी कुछ अलग अलग मतलब नेगेटिव जो बातें लोग सोशल मीडिया में जो स्प्रेड हो रहा है इसको ऊपर आप ध्यान ना दें। यहाँ एवरीथिंग इज़ वेरी पीसफुल। यहाँ पे हमारा असम साइड में जो लखीपुर सब डिवीज़न है, इसका जिरीघाट थाना हो, लखीपुर थाना हो या जयपुर थाना हो, हर जगह पे हमारा डिप्लॉयमेंट है और लोग यहाँ पे एवरीथिंग इज़ पीसफुल नाउ। कोई यहाँ पे कोई इंसिडेंट नहीं है और हमारा यही लक्ष्य है कि जो इंसिडेंट सीमा के उस पार में, जैसा मणिपुर साइड में जो हुआ है, वो हमारे यहाँ ना हो, यहाँ पर यहाँ लोग पीसफुली रहे, इसके लिए हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
So let me take you through some of the reactions that have come, and these reactions that have come are very clear. The advanced security of the CM carcade, moving to Jiri was attacked. One civilian and a policeman injured, taken to the hospital, and we are showing you those photographs. So this advanced team of Manipur police that had gone to Jiribam to prepare for the visit of the Manipur CM and Biren Singh has come under attack by unidentified armed miscreants. 2 policemen, including the driver of the vehicle, injured. Mr. Singh is expected to visit Jiribam on Tuesday. So that was the advanced team that came under attack, which means that they had gone to prepare for the team. Now, the Manipur Chief Minister and Biren Singh advanced security convoy was ambushed by suspected Kuki insurgents en route to Jiribam. Chief Minister is scheduled to visit Jiribam on Tuesday. We'll have to see whether he goes or not, but I think the message will need to be sent. Manipur CMO sources are saying, we are not intimidated by coward acts of ambushing the police. The security forces under the unified command will respond strongly, and the threat to movement on the national highway connecting Jiribam will be neutralized. And the photographs have also come. So these militants, now the big picture is emerging. These militants were trying to prevent the movement of the Chief Minister to go to a place where a man was beheaded. They were trying to send the signal that they will not allow the elected representative to come. The state needs to give a stern message to these miscreants. Bijesh.
Well, absolutely, and I think, if you look at the area, the Kangpokpi area where this this attack has happened, basically what they are doing is that for the first time, I think the escalation has reached the level of at the door of Chief Minister. When the advanced licensing team, the ALT, which prepares for the security convoy for the route of the visit of Chief Minister, which will take place tomorrow. When the convoy is attacked, it's a very clear signal posed to the Chief Minister of Manipur, to the might of the state, that that you are not outside our reach, you are well within our reach, and it will require very less effort on our part to attack this. And I think after a big lull, a big event has taken place. Now what has happened is that this attack will further intensify or solidify both the divide between the two ethnicity, and we will see several issues emerging out of this particular attack which has taken place in Kangpokpi area, when in the Jiribam area, because the Biren Singh convoy was en route there to prepare for the visit of Chief Minister tomorrow. It is a big happening. The Chief Minister office reportedly and rightly so has said that we are not going to be intimidated by these kind of cowardly attacks. But I think a very big message has been sent by militants.
So the question is that they wanted to give the message that the Chief Minister will not be allowed to come to Jiribam.
Well, I think the message they are sending is that the Chief Minister is also not out of her range.
So these are the visuals on the left side when Biren Singh is leaving Delhi, and on the right hand side are the visuals. You can actually hear the gunfire. The convoy was attacked by suspected militants. Let's listen into the Chief Minister. Okay. So Chief Minister, very important, very important. So the convoy that was going to clear the area for the Chief Minister, advanced security convoy, that has come under attack. So it needs to be seen what was the action, what will be the action. An entire area has seen exhorters, lot of checkpoints have been burned, the nakas have been burned, the police posts have been burned, the stations have been burned, and as it has been reported, and let me tell you, because this is also very, I would say, problematic in one sense, because in a report which states that the Chief Minister office had alerted police 6 months ago about 200 armed Kukizo militants near Jiribam. Police sources say that Jiribam has sufficient security, allege the violence is engineered. So the Jiribam violence is engineered. As homes and police posts were torched and hundreds displaced, Manipur's Jiribam district over past days, Biren Singh has sought a report from the state police regarding security measures taken to contain the violence. The Chief Minister office had written to 3 letters on January 15, 27th and 31 to the Director General of Police and the Manipur Security Advisor, apprising them about the movement of 200 armed Kukizo militants. So are there 200 armed Kukizo militants in Jiribam? And the Chief Minister's office had in fact informed the local police authorities, and this has been published in Hindu.
And I think, Karthikeya, the more important thing is that if this has been informed to the DGP, which is Rajiv Singh, and this has been given to the security advisor, I would love to know what kind of measures have been taken to act on, what kind of action has been taken on the information which has been provided by the Chief Minister's office. Because, a convoy of Chief Ministers being attacked is an ultimate challenge to the might of the state. It will be very, very interesting to see how the response is going to be, and whether there is any delay in the visit of Biren Singh, who is likely to visit Jiribam tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Is the visit going to be cancelled, or some extra security measures have to be taken? What action has the police taken on the report which has been sought by, or the information which has been provided by Chief Minister's office? I think all of these are very, very serious questions and big at answer, because this is not a normal incident that has taken place. This is not a violence between the two.
Okay, let us play the bite. Let us play one bite again of the police officer who is explaining the problem of exodus from Jiribam. Let us play that bite once more.
देखिए, अब 4 दिन हुआ जब मणिपुर में पहले इंसिडेंट हुआ था, उससे लेके अभी लगातार हम लोग, हमारे जो एरिया है, बॉर्डरिंग एरिया है, हर जगह पे हम लोग पुलिस डिप्लॉयमेंट रखा है। हमारा स्पेशल कमांडो फोर्सेस हैं, कमांडो फोर्स डिप्लॉयमेंट किया हुआ है। हर जगह पे ये लोग LRP कर रहे हैं, और वो लोग वहाँ पे पेट्रोलिंग कर रहे हैं हर जगह पे। और हमारा जितना लोग हैं यहाँ पे, दो लोग, दे आर ऑल पीस लविंग पीपल, दे आर लिविंग वेरी पीसफुली, और पब्लिक भी हमको कोऑपरेट कर रहे हैं। हालांकि आप देखिए कि कुछ लोगों ने जहाँ पे गड़बड़ हुआ था, वहाँ से काफ़ी लोग इधर आ गए हैं, नियर अबाउट 600 पीपल, और दे हैव टेकन शेल्टर इन सम ऑफ देयर रिलेटिव्स प्लेसेस। और हम लोग लगातार इसके निगरानी में लगे हुए हैं। हम खुद इसको विजिट कर रहे हैं, हर जगह पे हम लोग देख रहे हैं। और लोगों का, हम आपके माध्यम के जरिए हम यही बताएंगे कि आप लोग जो र्यूमर्स मंगा रहे हैं उसको आप अहमियत न दें, और जो भी कुछ अलग अलग मतलब नेगेटिव जो बातें लोग सोशल मीडिया में जो स्प्रेड हो रहा है, इसको ऊपर आप ध्यान ना दें। यहाँ एवरीथिंग इज़ वेरी पीसफुल। यहाँ पे हमारा असम साइड में जो लखीपुर सब डिवीज़न है, इसका जिरीघाट थाना हो, लखीपुर थाना हो या जयपुर थाना हो, हर जगह पे हमारा डिप्लॉयमेंट है, और लोग यहाँ पे एवरीथिंग इज़ पीसफुल नाउ। कोई यहाँ पे कोई इंसिडेंट नहीं है, और हमारा यही लक्ष्य है कि जो इंसिडेंट सीमा के उस पार में, जैसा मणिपुर साइड में जो हुआ है, वो हमारे यहाँ ना हो, यहाँ पर यहाँ लोग पीसफुली रहे, इसके लिए हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं। देखिए, अब 4 दिन हुआ जब मणिपुर में पहले इंसिडेंट हुआ था, उससे लेके
the security expert, someone who understands the issue. Sir, how do we read into the attack on the advanced security convoy of Biren Singh? He's supposed to be there. The convoy which was going to Jiribam to actually sanitize the area came under attack. What sort of a message is this?
Well, I think it's a very clear message that, Chief Minister Biren Singh is not welcome into the area. Somebody sending this message obviously has the, audacity even to send this message to the Union of India, the Government of India. If the Chief Minister of this state cannot visit wherever he wants to, it's extremely unfortunate. As I said earlier, if the Chief Minister himself is not secure, then who is secure in the state? So therefore, I think it's really unprecedented that somebody would launch an attack on the Chief Minister's convoy. So, I just can't imagine this kind of a situation, taking place anywhere in the Northeast. I do not recall in the past where the Chief Ministers, had to face this kind of a situation. So therefore, it indicates, the intensity of the conflict, the seriousness of the issues which the central government as well as the Manipur government have been ignoring.
Okay, so there was a report which was published in the Hindu, and it goes on to say, today it has been published. The report says that the Chief Minister had already informed, Chief Minister's office had already informed that there were 200 Kuki-Zo militants in the Jiribam area. If the Chief Minister's office has informed that there are 200 Kuki-Zo militants in the Jiribam area, then what sort of action was taken? And this has been published by Hindu. 200 armed Kuki-Zo militants near Jiribam. Police sources say Jiribam has sufficient security. CM office had alerted the police 6 months ago.
Well, at the end of the day, if you look the entire Northeast India and especially the Manipur situation, not Northeast, Manipur, the presence of this kind of armed groups is not new. Please remember, it's not only the armed groups, common citizens who had access to 5,000 to 6,000 arms. Anybody could ambush a convoy anywhere. So the presence of 200 or something less than that or 20 of them, it makes no difference. But it's a fact that the communities from both sides, they are armed to the teeth, and anywhere, this kind of attack, can take place. So the police, it's very easy to say that, we are in control of the situation when nobody is in control of the situation, given the topography of the area, because you are dealing with hill areas, tropical areas, forest, with long traces of lands without any kind of security. So the fact that even if you sanitize this particular security convoy, for this particular security convoy, I can imagine that there could be more attacks even after sanitization, because at the end of the day, you are not going to put security in the entire, say, about 180 kilometers or 200 kilometers stretch between Imphal and Jiribam. So it depends on that. So if you do not have that kind of security arrangement, I don't think you can sanitize at all. They could come anywhere. In the northeast, if you go and the areas, the road from the Jiribam to Imphal, if you travel that road, why is it not possible for any armed group or anybody, any miscreant, to be next to the roadside and attack any kind of convoy? It's absolutely possible. So the sanitization was good, but the fact that the convoy itself was attacked, it's a clear message to the central government and the state government of Manipur. I think you have delayed enough not to take a decision on the security issue, and you have to take decisions on.
So, but can the militants prevent the movement at the Jiribam? Is that the intention?
Well, if you look at the earlier incidents, even prior to the start of the ethnic riots in May 2000 or May 2023, prior to that, Chief Minister tried to visit Churachandpur, and the venue was vandalized. The MLA, I think, was also had to face the wrath of the people, and ultimately he could not go there. And a couple of weeks later, I think the riots had started. So this is not the first incident. This is the first armed incident. But it was clear that Chief Minister wasn't able to visit the Kuki inhabited areas for a long time, even prior to the start of the riots.
What is going to happen is that, what my big worry is that it should not turn into a conflict between the two ethnicity again, where it will be said that, this attack has been carried by XYZ community and that there should be a crackdown on that community by the Manipur police and all, because then it has all the ingredients of making sure that the situation spiral out of control. Whosoever has taken a decision to open fire at the advanced security convoy of the Chief Minister very well knows the implications of this particular act. It is like,
So this is the visual of the security person who was attacked. These are the visuals that have come. We are playing it on News 9 Live Connect. We have blurred it. So, it follows the guidelines. But these are the visuals that are on your screen. The person who was injured in the gunfight. So the tension and attack was so severe that the police personnel was actually injured. Suhas, all this area of militancy, anti-armor weapons are freely available. How vulnerable that makes the task of the security forces when anti-armor bullets are available in the Eastern Theatre?
Well, if you look at the convoy which you are showing and look at the topography, somebody could fire from in any distance. So therefore, there cannot be any kind of, full-time security or foolproof security. It is simply not possible to have foolproof security. And at this point in time, I think the central security forces and the state security forces, they have been reluctant in a way not to cause any kind of damage to the civilians. So therefore, they have been restraining themselves for a long period of time because the civilians are involved in the riots. And if you use, of course, disproportionate force, then it leads to another kind of conflict. So this inability of the security forces to exercise their, force also led to a situation where people believe that security forces cannot come in. So I think the riots to stop, there is a need for some kind of a process where the people who are seen to be too partisan, to be impartial, I mean, they have to be taken out. If the central government doesn't take that out, this will continue to take place. I mean, if the
But
chief
Suhas, can you just tell us, because you understand the area, when we always had a discussion, Jiribam would never come up. Why violence in Jiribam has broken out? And the letters which were given to the local...
We discuss the district, Kangpokpi.
And the letters which have been sent out with CMO office, which have been reported by the Hindu newspaper, says that the violence in Jiribam is engineered. Do you think that some sort of an ethnic cleansing exercise is taking place in the state by these non-state actors, sir?
No, it's very difficult to say, but one could say that, the entire riots are engineered. The riots cannot continue in this manner unless some kind of involvement or complicity of certain actors. So it doesn't matter. From both sides, they are equally responsible for it. As I said, riots can continue for a few weeks, for a few months, but we are over a year now. Even if the riots are still continuing at this pace, obviously there are certain actors who are involved. So you could say engineered by whom? Engineered by either the community representative or the armed groups, or the leadership
the cookies
of the
armed groups. By the cookies or armed groups?
Well, I mean, it's very difficult to say without any kind of evidence. But what I would say is that the riots could not have continued without the involvement of the leadership from both the communities. It could not have continued. It's very clear. So let's not cast aspersion on any side. I mean, basically what is required is that, this has gone out of control. Now you have held the elections. There is nothing, stopping you from taking, decisive actions. And this is the time, I think, because if it is happening in Jiribam today, it might happen anywhere else in the entire state.
What is the social matrix of Jiribam? Is it the Meitei dominated area? Are all refugees from Jiribam Meiteis, who have moved out to Assam?
Well, it had mixed population, because some of the people who had moved out earlier, they also belong to the Kuki communities. So both communities are there. It's much more, you could say, in a way, multicultural than other districts. So therefore, you have the Kuki communities living on this side of the border in the Barak Valley and, Kachar, all those areas. So, if you look at this entire region where, the Masa, Karbis, the Mas, who belong to the communities, and the Jiribam districts. So also you have the Meitei communities living in Kachar Valley, Silchar, etc. So these are cosmopolitan in that sense, or at least not cosmopolitan. If you do not use the cosmopolitan, these are very inclusive in that sense. So I do not know, who will benefit from it, but it's very unfortunate. What is happening?
Brijesh, stay with me. Brijesh, is our heads going to roll? What sort of a response do you see from New Delhi? I mean to say, Biren Singh was supported by New Delhi, and Biren Singh's advance convoy, which was going there so that the Biren Singh could have a safe movement to Jiribam on Tuesday, has been attacked.
Well, I think, I don't see much happening from New Delhi. They will definitely get in touch with the top officials of Assam Rifles and also the security advisor, Mr. Vijay Kumar, and they would also want to know exactly what happened and what kind of security apparatus that is going to be thrown in tomorrow to make sure this doesn't happen again, or whosoever is behind this is taken to task. But what is problematic, Karthikeya, is that this situation has been allowed to go adrift for a very long time. And what is happening is that the promises initially which were made by center, because of elections and all, they were not completed, or earlier, when Home Minister Amit Shah had said that I will be coming back to Manipur to take assessment of the situation, the security situation, and give me 15 days violence free and I'll change the situation. Nothing of that sort has happened. And the kind of political message which Manipur has sent by electing 2 Congress MPs and not voting for Bharatiya Janata Party, it's a very clear cut political message which has been sent out. I think the center in the state, more importantly, more than center, the state has its task cut out of how it wants to go ahead and deal with. If they still go on and playing this Kuki Maitai, I think they are not going to get either the vote of Kuki or of Maitai, as it has been amply demonstrated in the general election. They have to crack down, but they cannot be seen as biased by any one of the ethnicity, and therein lies the biggest problem.
Okay. Now over 70 houses were said to be set ablaze in the various villages like Lamatai, Khunao, Dibong, Khunao, Nunkul, Begra. So many houses have been torched. More than 70 houses, 600 people have fled. I mean, sir, how can that happen? I just don't understand that. When this information and this report has been published of the Kuki-Zo militants being active, and the CM office has sent those letters on 15th of January. So there are two questions which I have, Mr. Chakpa. One, what was the police, were they sitting on the CM's
That's
letter?
what I'm saying.
One.
Coming from CM makes it all the more difficult.
What were they doing when the letters were sent? And secondly, how come such a big exodus is allowed?
Well, I think, as I said, the police mostly prefer to be in their own areas because nobody wants to risk life at this point of time. Because sometimes, as I said, if you go and meet or take some people into custody, you will have the entire community coming out and surrounding the security forces. The security forces cannot use firearms or any other sorts of weapons, because then it leads to civil casualties and it creates another problem. And that has been the trend in Manipur. That's why, as I said earlier, security forces, we are being verified, checked by the private persons, which is unthinkable and unseen anywhere in India or anywhere in the world, where you have a government what this sort. So I think what we have to take into account is that there are instructions, information given from the CM's office, or possibly Ministry of Home Affairs, but there is nobody to act on it, because you can't act on it because you possibly do not even have the precise information. Even if you have the precise information, the situation which I had laid out few seconds back plays out. So that's why I think, when the Home Minister Amit Shah a few days back said that, they will start the negotiation process, the peace process, they should immediately get into it. Because if they do not get into it, I disagree with Brajesh on one point. I don't think the Manipur government under the leadership of Biren Singh is in a position to think something different than, be seen to be partisan. It's not possible for him. He has tried it out for last 1 year. And I think it is time for somebody else, to give a new face or new direction. And at times when you take out this kind of controversial political leaders, it immediately leads to some kind of reconciliation processes, because the other side feels that, their grievances have been heard. So I think we have a situation where the Meiteis themselves are not satisfied. Therefore, they have voted for the Congress, because the Kukis had boycotted the elections largely. And you also do not have Biren Singh also doesn't have the support of the Kukis. So if you are in a position to take decision that you want to improve the situation, there is no problem, or it should not be a problem to take out the person concerned. You have taken out somebody from Haryana, you have taken out Biplab Dev from Delhi, Tripura. Why can't you take out, is it so indispensable that, the security of the state or security of the country would be compromised or questioned in this manner?
Okay, fair enough. I'm also joined by General Siraj. General Siraj, yesterday you were talking about the jointness of operation. I think you were prophetic when you said that some jointness of operation is required, and today this has
unified
command, you were talking about it, and today the advanced convoy which was going to Jiribam to make arrangements for the safe visit of the Chief Minister was attacked. A policeman has been injured. As an army man, how do you see this? A bullet can be fired. They're trying to confine the Chief Minister to the Imphal Valley.
Very kind. See, Karthike, we have been telling that the situation is still not normal in Manipur. And the basic reason is the number of weapons which have been looted from police armory is there in the environment. And therefore, the whole environment is charged. And the so-called militant groups on the either side, whether it is Meiteis or Kukis, can attack on any security forces call until these weapons are not taken back from the society, it is very difficult to bring peace and tranquility. As on today, no one is afraid of the security forces because they are equally equipped with, and armed with the deadly weapons. So the problem is that you have to now launch these operations by a unified command, carry out a combing operation, search and cordon, wherein you can take out these weapons. If 10,000 weapons which were looted from police armory, not more than about 2,000 weapons have come back. 8,000 weapons are already there in the environment. And to make the situation more grave, there are certain weapons which have also come from Myanmar, which have come from the border area. So the question comes at that in case we are trying to bring out the peace in Manipur, and we are saying that some sort of a truce should be there between both these communities. That is one issue. The second issue is what happened to these weapons which are there in the society, which may have fallen down in the hands of the militant groups.
Okay.
And they will now
General
challenge
Siraj, can you, for the
security
viewers,
forces.
can you just tell us why unified command is different from the normal security superstructure which is there available in Manipur? How does it work? What is a unified command? A lot of people would not know, because on my show from past 1 year, you have been saying that there needs to be a unified command in Manipur.
Like that is there in the JNK.
Absolutely.
Now, the first unified command was followed in Assam, which was General Sinha was the overall unified commander, and wherein all the organs of security forces were under the unified commander, which was basically that time the governor of Assam, and technically it was under the army. And therefore, the situation was brought under control. As far as Assam is concerned, Op Rhino was very successful. The same formula was copied and brought to Jammu and Kashmir. The unified commander, though unified commander was under the overall CM, but the powers were there with the Northern Army commander, and he was the one which was coordinating all the operation under him. And all the organs of security forces, whether it is BSF, CRPF, ITPP or CISF or the state police, were operating under one military commander. And therefore, the unity of operation was there, and the success of the operation was very high. The intelligence was shared between each other. There was no one-upship. The intelligence was shared horizontally and vertically at the same time. And that's how we succeeded in Jammu and Kashmir. We succeeded in Assam. But unfortunately, it didn't happen in Manipur. In Manipur, it is now army is not being brought in. There are places where there is no Armed Forces Special Power Act, almost about 10 to 12 police districts, and every security forces is operating separately. Whether it is the state police, whether it is Assam Rifle, which comes under MHA, and also the Indian Army when they are called. Indian Army is only there inside or in situ, but they are not operating until unless aid to civil authority is there, they are called, or there is the Armed Forces Special Power Act. Now, I just want to differentiate. Armed Forces Special Power Act, wherever is not there, the army is not going to operate. In case if they are required to operate, you have to have a magistrate along with the column, and you will, as a DC, will claim that the army should come in aid to civil authority. So the formula which is there, which everyone is trying to convey, Manipur is a situation which is beyond the control of our particular security forces. It must be given under a one unified command. All the organs of security forces should work under it, the way it happened in
Kartikeya, I would like to add here. I would like to add here. I would like to add here, Kartikeya, is that, Manipur is also a unique situation in which the forces are also being seen in a partisan manner. Any Maithei group or most of them would hail certain units of Assam Rifles as actively helping Kuki militants and, supporting the Kuki militants or being on their side. Whereas all the Kuki communities are blaming Manipur to be acting as an extension of Maithei outfits, and they're acting at their interest. I think this absolute lack of trust is also one thing which needs to be addressed. Otherwise, any action by either side will be viewed as a biased one.
Okay, so I know it's a bit of a political question, it's a bit of an administrative question, but you're the best person to answer it. Why do you think the reticence for a unified command in Manipur, they could have done it. If they can do it in other states, why is this reticence? Can you take us through that?
Well, I think one of the reasons why the center has not taken this decision because the communalization process instantly and immediately reached the security forces. And I mean, it would not be wrong to say that every person in Manipur, irrespective of the communities, both the communities, we are communalized. It was hard to find a human being. You could only find Métis and the Cookies, and those who spoke in same voices. Some of the human rights activists, I don't want to name them, they were chased out, their houses were attacked. So, the Manipur security forces also became part of the entire process, communalized. And it was basically difficult for the central government to immediately push the command structure of the army over the security forces of the state, because that would have led to far more clashes among the security forces. And in the initial incidents, you could see that the Manipur police had prevented and basically asked the Indian army officials and etc. to leave. And center did not want to be a situation where there would be clashes between the Manipur police and the central security forces. And I can tell you one thing: if the center had tried to intervene at that point of time, I think there would have been clashes between the Manipur police and these central security forces. So somebody who was aware of this, about the ground situation, had to take, sit little bit back. But now that situation has come over. People are tired, and I think, in the last couple of months, you had seen less and less number of, incidents. And now that this incident had taken place, I think this is the time to establish what General Sivas was saying, at least for restoration of peace. You have to have a unified command. This is not an anti-insurgency operation. The unified command is being demanded to restore peace and security for the civilians of the state. And since still, the security forces are seen to be partisan, and Chief Minister himself is seen to be partisan, I think this is the time for establishing an unified command. And unified command also has to work in a manner to dispel any kind of biasness which they have at this point of time. It is possible, but then the center has to take a decision, and you cannot continue with the current chief minister, because if you continue the current chief minister, then obviously he has his own baggage. At this point of time, I think he has become a liability, and that must be recognized by the center. If you allow him to continue in this manner, I don't think he would improve the situation. I mean, this conflict will continue.
If I may add to what Chakma is saying, one thing is very interesting that we could understand, earlier or before the general election, that why the BJP is not taking any kind of action against N. Biren Singh. But you know what? The post-election has happened, and election has also thrown a result at BJP's face. That that their politics has lost, and mostly even the Meiteis are not being seen siding with the BJP. Whereas the chief minister is has always been viewed as someone who is favouring Meiteis and not taking any action against the social outfits which is related to their group. So I think time has really come for centre to take a very hard and nuanced assessment of the situation in Manipur, and they should take some sort of action vis-a-vis the chief ministership, because I think his position is getting untenable by the day, and the opposition is bound to raise this.
I think the most important question is, which has come on the which the people are asking: why has Jiribam become ground zero? I think that's the question which people should be asking. The question which we are asking is, how come Jiribam has become ground zero? How come cookies or militants are operating there? Chief Minister has already written the letter. Why houses have been torched? Who torched the houses? उन 600 families का क्यों होगा? Who is trying to create land for a particular community? I am not sitting here to say this community is involved, that community is involved, but the fact of the matter is that houses have been torched there. 600 people had to go to Assam. So the question is, why Jiribam is the ground zero? Do we have an answer, Suhas? Why Jiribam is a ground zero?
Well, I think the first question should be asked to the Chief Minister. If you were aware that there are 200 odd Kuki militants, what instructions have you issued with respect to that information, and why no action has been taken to the point that your own convoy has been attacked? So the accountability has to be from that particular information. Because if no action has been taken, despite specific information is published in the Hindu, then there will be questions, and those questions possibly will answer. If the white Jiribam has become the ground zero.
No, I want to know from you, because the reason why is this is so democratic. We are streaming it, and people are saying that the question you should ask is why Jiribam is the ground zero. So that is why I asked you. Maybe sometimes with people sitting in the studio miss the bigger picture. People are saying, ask the question why Jiribam is the ground zero. You are the expert with me. I'm just asking you why Jiribam is the ground zero.
No, I mean, I would say, this kind of beheading has been taking place in many places. The moment what to say, it takes place, that particular place can become ground zero. Earlier it was More, now it's Jiribam. It can be anywhere else. It just requires one particular spot.
So who are the ones, Suhash, who are burning houses and all? I mean, why is this a massive exodus of 600 plus family? I mean, is there more to it that we are missing, or can you explain that thing as well?
Well, I mean, if a particular community is being, or has fled to neighboring Assam, obviously they are being targeted. So it would be the people from the other side.
Because I think the word which need to be used is, let me be a participant in this debate. General Sivaj, there's sort of an ethnic cleansing that is taking place. The Maiti houses have been burned there. When we say that the cookies have been harmed there, the Maiti houses have been burned there. The Maitis are the refugees in Jiribam. The Maitis are the one who are in Assam. That is the problem. So why ethnic cleansing is taking place? I think it's it's like you are targeting a particular community, and in this case, a particular community is being targeted in Jiribam. General.
Yeah, looks like that. Possibly the relief camp which is being made in Jiribam is mainly of Metis. And as on today, when the Chief Minister is going to Jiribam to see this relief camp, and his convoy has been attacked, obviously the one which would have attacked must be from the other group. But the point which is coming is why the situation is not able to bring under control. Whether it is Metis or Cookies, as far as the security apparatus is concerned, anyone who is taking law in the hand should be accordingly handled. Now the question which is very rightly brought out.
But General Saab, the real issue is people are killing to clear the land. To clear the land, that's the issue. There are 600 refugees. Houses have been burned. The Delhi Maiti Coordinating Society has expressed outrage. The Maiti Heritage Society has also come out saying that these Maiti houses have been burned. I mean, there was a violence against Kuki Biren program for 30 days.
Absolutely.
But today, the Maitis are the refugees.
That's the problem which is coming. The point is, there are certain places where Metis are in the relief camp, there are certain places where cookies are in the relief camp. And the government is not able to control the violence, because in case if Metis are in the relief camp, they are attacked by the other group and the militant group of that, and they are already charged there with the weapon. And if it is Kuki refugee camp, then they are attacked by the other group. So the question which is coming is, the whole situation has become complex. And very rightly brought out that this election result has thrown many other questions. And therefore, we must now take the holistic view and de novo handle the security situation in Manipur. We are thinking that the situation is improving, but certainly it doesn't seem to be. On ground, it remains lull for some days, and again some violence takes place. But point is, the violence will not able to be controlled until unless these weapons are taken out from the society. And you can only take out the weapons from the society in case you do operation. And the operation has to be done by unified command, and they have to be transparent and objective. The people should understand the security forces belong to the nation. They do not belong to any group. They are not biased. They are not influenced. That is what you have to bring out in hearts and mind of the local populace. And including Assam Rifle, these are the one forces which are owned by the central government. They will act and operate as per the interest of the nation, not as per the interest of a particular community. I suppose that lesson has to be brought in Manipur. It's not coming in the sense, it is not Metis versus Kuki now. It is not that only Metis or cookies been targeted. It is either of them whenever the opportunity arises, and it looks to be that the militant group on the either side are motivated, activated and charged, and they are having weapons. So it is not that one community is basically a victim. It is both these communities are victims.
I'll just confine myself to Jiribam. I'll just confine myself to Jiribam because in Jiribam, the Maiti houses have been burnt. The Maiti community has been displaced, and the Maiti positions have been attacked. So my question to you, let's have this conversation. Generally people don't give sympathy to the majority community, saying that the responsibility of law and order, relies on them. But the fact is, we need to also call spade a spade. Today, the majority community is at the receiving end in Jiribam, Brajesh. They are at the receiving end.
And absolutely. And honestly speaking, we don't have to be this, because we have covered both sides with absolute impartiality. Whenever there is an attack on cookies, despite us undercoming criticism, severe criticism, we took their side, and we called spade a spade. The fact of the matter is, yes, a beheading happened. A person belonging to Methi community was beheaded, and the kind of violence which you are witnessing, post that is a clear indication that there is, by design, people want a particular ethnicity, want Meithis to be out of that place. They are clearing the land, and I think it is kind of again, as we had witnessed in the middle of conflict, it's like a line has to be divided, where on one side is cookies and the other side are Meithis, and this targeted killing will further inflame the situation. That is what I was saying, referring to when I said that when attack on Convoy is not limited just to Biren Singh or an insult or challenge to the might of the state. This will also be seen as an attempt. It will also be seen as an attempt to challenge the Meithei community, and Meithei community might also respond to this particular challenge. So these kind of situations are extremely tricky and has all the potential of blowing out of proportion and creating a fresh round of security scare for the state. The state is battered, and as I think the time for political niceties has also gone out of the window. The public has displayed their mood. The Meithei communities have also shown what they think of the particular state. But the fact of the matter,
do you think that does it become incumbent on the Chief Minister to go to Jiribam? I think the Chief Minister must go to Jiribam.
No, Chief Minister must go to Jiribam. Chief Minister must give a message. Caught in two things. If Chief Minister backs out, there's a clear message that he got scared, which no Chief Minister on earth would want to send it. And then it will also be seen as backing out of his support to the Meithei community, because what is happening there needs a very closer look, and it is going to be extremely interesting to see what the central forces are saying. Because the central forces are also being deployed there, the state police are also being deployed there. I think there has to be some sort of mechanism.
The point I was trying to make is
why the situation is allowed to escalate or get out of.
Absolutely, I don't dispute that with you, Brajesh, but I was saying that there has to be the fairness of the narrative, which I am trying to exercise, saying that when there is violence against Kuki, we register it. If there is violence against Meithis, that too need to be registered, not to be brushed aside just because they are the majority community. Suhas, I'm being told that you want to come in.
No, I just wanted to point out one thing, that, it might be from the other communities, but this cannot necessarily be for ethnic cleansing, because the data which you are also showing in your screen, that 51% of the population in Jiribam are Bengali Hindus, 31% are the Meithis. The Kukis are about 1% of the population. The other communities who may claim to be Kukis are about 3%. So I do not see at least the possibility of anybody trying to, perpetrate, killings to create lands, ethnic cleansing, and etc. There might be other factors. So if we look
but you might have, why are we saying that only indigenous people are involved? There might be foreign militants. Let me be the devil's advocate. हो सकता है सब foreigners हो सकता हो border cross करके आए हो, fishing in the troubled water. Why do we say that they are the Manipuris? They might be the foreigners of the same ethnic stock, but stoking tension here. ये भी हो सकता है.
No, absolutely possible. What I am trying to say is that I think this is more of, first of all, the first incident of the beheading. It might take place because of the riots which have been continuing. The attacks on the security convoy of the Chief Minister has a lot to do with the approach or the hatred towards the Chief Minister. That might be one of the factors. But this conflict, this Jiribam being the flashpoint, need not necessarily be any community either the Meiteis or the Kukis.
But there has to be a method to madness, you know, you have been there. There has to be a method to madness. You know, it started in Churachandpur. There was a method to madness. You know, there were violence in the border areas. There has to be a method to the violence. Today, when they have attacked the advance convoy of the Chief Minister Biren Singh, they are trying to send a message. We will not send a message.
They are not trying to, they are sending a message.
They are sending a message.
They are sending a message.
Clear.
Okay, they have sent a message, but I think the security forces will send an even powerful message tomorrow when the Biren Singh is there. So the message has to be sent.
Well, I mean, that has been the biggest failure. The security forces have not been able to send any message as on date. The security forces were fixed by the civilians. And the government of India allowed that. At the moment you had allowed that, you know, the entire control over the security apparatus had gone out. When the insurgents from both sides, you know, when arrested by the security forces, are taken out by the communities from both sides.
Okay, that's a big statement you are giving, that the security forces have not been able to send a message. General Sivaj, do you agree with Mr. Chakma that the security forces have not been able to send the message that, boss, we call the shots?
I can only say that may not be exactly correct, because the point is the security forces are under tremendous pressure. They are trying to basically bring the situation under control. But yes, the situation is certainly not under control, because it looks the way the things are unfolding in Manipur, that the violence take place after every 10-15 days. And then again, you feel that situation is gone from bad to worse. And then again, there is a lull. Now, as far as the Jiribam is concerned, we must understand 2-3 geographical features. Now, this is a gateway to Manipur. There is a railway line which is being built from Jiribam to Imphal, and the Manipur will be then connected by the railway. And if you remember, just about a year and a half, there was one territorial army unit which basically came under a slide also. Now,
Sir, just to stop you, these are the visuals coming from the Imphal hospital. These are the visuals from Imphal hospital. Biren Singh has reached there. He's gone to the hospital to meet the people who have been injured. Chief Minister of Manipur, Biren Singh's visuals have started to come.
Visuals.
And these are exclusive visuals which we are streaming on News 9 Live Connect. Biren Singh is there because a security personnel was injured. Sir, please, you can continue to speak.
So the point is, as far as Jiribam is concerned, this is gateway to Manipur, and you find it, the population is more of Hindus. And
I think he's saying something, sir. Sorry, he's saying something. Biren Singh is saying something.
Prime Minister Wasak Nobudu, State Chief Minister Amoina, Madugi responsibility to Salubani State Siwat Adugi Adagi Delhi Degi monitoring the Urakanda Jiribamgi, the Toyota Yamna Nungai, the Wotogdo, Yamna Kahenjama Togo, Jirigi Praja Singai, live, the mobile, the live, what is happening. What is Harakana Moigi, other lady, a Waban, the Urukanda, I know any Manunga, I lack any. Aduga, Nogi, Yum, Lavam, Savam, like Tripa, Women, the Sine, Kainapim, Laga, Fazana, is Singani. And I have been a mother production, Madugi, I Hayangla, Hansila, convenient, where I said care. Adonizing a Sisi, other Mayamgi, Lehori, Loina, same, the other way, Manipuri, Toy Birang, Equis, Nalu, Bunina, Halagalakmani. On the way, Lakpoka and the Sumaina, I get advanced convoy team set for the ambush story and Lakma. I hazard the Vania to go. I still I see driver remaining the Palagan and Maruna Pale. I have no Zumaki in the Kitan Ferry. I know the hiding Bussy state government Nahangri Koi, the way of a Krotoka Yamka Hena Koi. Retaliate dog de Yaringa Yakoyum Bhatana, understanding Ama Lakadra, Kotkadra, or what I san, Lambish Mayam, Labanina Hydra, Labane. Adubu Moigi Mawomato City, the state government Pan Rabadona. So government Amalek Rabadona to Vogi Mawong, Lak Pasida, I am Tina, I want the Yamna Nungaite. Yam line state commissionaries, Mayam state Kilady, Port Mayam, Yam line a Kandona, Yam Shitawi, the Vimong, the Karim Katana, Yam Tointowi, Adu Kanga Lapani, Adu Huzia Quick Gomenkari, with a gay Hyberto Subsana, ꯍꯥꯟꯅꯗꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯈꯔ ꯈꯔ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯁꯦꯡꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯒꯦ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯒꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯖꯥꯁꯤꯡꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯁꯦꯟꯅꯤ ꯑꯃꯅꯤ ꯚꯥꯞ ꯇꯥꯅꯔꯛꯀꯗ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯍꯟꯖꯤꯟꯅꯔꯛꯀꯗ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯈꯜ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯒꯤ ꯕꯤꯔꯦꯟꯒꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯕ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯒꯤ ꯆꯤꯐ ꯃꯤꯅꯤꯁꯇꯔ ꯑꯃꯒꯤ ꯀꯟꯚꯣꯏ ꯑꯦꯗꯚꯥꯟꯁ ꯄꯥꯔꯇꯤꯗ ꯈꯨꯠ ꯊꯥꯔꯛꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯗꯥꯏꯔꯦꯛꯠꯂꯤ ꯁꯤएमꯗ ꯑꯦꯇꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄꯅꯦꯅ ꯂꯧꯏ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯀꯟꯕ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯑꯩ ꯀꯣꯟꯗꯦꯝ ꯇꯧꯏ ꯃꯁꯤꯗꯩꯗ ꯁꯔꯀꯥꯔ ꯂꯦꯞꯀꯗꯕ ꯀꯅꯥꯅꯣ ꯁꯔꯀꯥꯔꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯌꯣꯛꯇ ꯂꯩꯒꯗꯕ ꯀꯅꯥꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯨ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯖꯥꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯂꯦꯞꯄꯤꯔꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯈꯔ ꯔꯨꯜ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯂꯣ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯦꯠꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯟꯖꯤꯜꯂꯛꯅꯕ ꯅꯍꯥꯟꯈꯩ ꯈꯔ ꯃꯌꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯥꯔꯠꯇ ꯗꯤꯜ ꯇꯧꯔꯨꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯒꯅꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯄꯥꯕ꯭ꯂꯤꯛ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗꯒꯤ ꯁꯄꯣꯔꯠ ꯅꯤꯖꯔꯤ It is higher.
Sure. How do you take this type of attack? You see, do you really think is a personal attack to the Chief Minister of Manipur and such type of actions that has been done? So how are you going to return?
This is very unfortunate and highly condemnable, and it is an attack directly on the Chief Minister, means directly on the people of the state. So state government has to do something. So I will take a call of my all colleagues and I will take a decision.
On the other hand, you see the presence of the security advisor out here, you see, has been running out the state fund also. 2,40,000 per month and along with other things. What is the requirement of such who has been silent and can't do anything?
On that matter, that is the internal of the government. I don't want to comment it.
Very important. The Chief Minister Biren Singh. So did you make something of it? Suhas?
Well, I mean, it is unfortunate if he is expressing helplessness in a manner that he has to take up with the, central government of India, because the Jiribam area is under the control of the Manipur police. This is not an area where the Armed Forces Special Powers Act is imposed. So there are less central security forces. It is mostly under the command of the Manipur police. So it basically indirectly an admission of the fact that he is not in charge of the security situation in Jiribam district. So if that is the statement of the chief minister that, central government has to do something, it basically means he has not directed with respect to the specific information received by him. So that's what I was saying in the beginning. If a report has been published in the Hindu that there are about 200, Kuki militants, and it comes on the press, and next day after coming out, when the convoy goes and convoy is attacked, you are not dealing with multiple sources of intelligence, which came to you, and you had to, make out which is credible enough, which is not credible enough. Here, there was specific information that your convoy would be going there, and there are armed groups, and he has not taken any action. So the impression I get is that he is, while he is in trouble, he asks the central government. And whenever he can't make any impact, he says it's the central security forces who are responsible. But in this case, it is the Manipur police which is responsible. So if you look at the security forces and etc., it's the Manipur police. So what were the Manipur police we are doing in Jiribam district? They can ensure the convoy of the chief minister. So if that's a situation, in a way, I mean, he should have said that, I can't handle this situation any longer. So therefore, Prime Minister, please appoint somebody or, appoint a governor. That should have what he had said. Rather than saying it is an attack on me and attack on India, the Prime Minister will take up. Obviously, it is an attack on India, but you had not acted despite having so many paramilitary, so many security forces under your command.
Okay, absolutely. But going by it, I think the Chief Minister will go to Jiribam. That's the sense I'm getting.
He will have to. I think, if him not going will send a very wrong signal, and will say that, that the state government has bowed down or cowed down after this attack. And I think this is one message which nobody would want to send to, to public at large. It will be seen as a state buckling under the pressure of these militants who have opened fire at his advanced security convoy. I'm not seeing that he will not go. He will 100% go. But it'll be extremely interesting at how, the politics pans out after this, because, there are various layers. And if you look at all these layers properly, it's very clear that, that Biren Singh looks like he's on a thin ice.
Okay. Okay, I think the biggest problem, General Sivach, is that the message has not gone down that the security means business, sir. General Sivach.
Absolutely, I agree with you. See, now this is very clear. As far as Jiribam is concerned, it throws a number of questions because the way that person has been beheaded and his body has been thrown, it gives an impression that things are not under control. And this is a place which was not affected by violence earlier. And now this has become a hub center of violence. And now when the advance party of the CM security convoy, which has gone on Monday, because the CM has to visit Jiribam on Tuesday, they have come under attack. So obviously this has come under attack from a militant groups of a different community. So this gives an impression things are not under control. How can they dare to attack on as a CM convoy? So that sense of fear is not there, and it means the things are not under control, and therefore the situation comes as where the helplessness is shown by the state government gives an impression it is free for all. And to bring the situation under control, the only solution is unified command and carry out coordinated search operation. And those districts which are not under unified Armed Forces Special Power Act, you have no other choice but to bring them under Armed Forces Special Power Act and let the unified command operate in a manner which is objective, transparent, and also goes against those who are taking law in their hands. Whether it is a Metis or Cookies, the militant groups on both sides have become very, very active. Now the question comes is the way the convoy of advance party of CM is attacked while going toward Jiribam gives an impression that possibly these can be the militant group from Cookie. Whether it is Metis or Cookie, both sides, they are charged up. And things are not happening the way the government likes to happen. And after now the election is over, there is no undue pressure. We must now act and act strongly by a unified command and take action against all those who are taking law in their own hand. And 3-4 action which we have already brought out earlier, that this problem is not only confined to Manipur, it has roots in Myanmar. So therefore, 2-3 things need to be done. One is this border shielding has to be done. The drugs and the weapons which were coming from Myanmar freely to Manipur has to be checked. And this free movement regime has to also done away with, because Manipur problem has also roots in Myanmar. That point must be understood. And both these communities are charged. The militant groups from both sides are well armed and well equipped. And both sides still have got difference and distrust is still there. Though the police has tried to make sure that distrust do not take place by creating a buffer zone, but results shows that this peace, whichever is there, is temporary. Again, some incident take place and we go back to square one. I suppose at de novo, you have to take a look on the security situation and act strongly. And this central government must now step in and take certain strong measure so that Manipur is brought back in a security arena, because Manipur is a basically state which is bordering in Myanmar, and Myanmar is already going through a turmoil of a military junta and the militant group. So therefore, we have to act fast, and my request is the central government must now act in a manner that we bring back Manipur on the security and at the earliest.
Okay. So the Chief Minister said it is very unfortunate and highly condemnable attack. This is a direct attack on the Chief Minister, which means direct attack on the people of state. So state government has to do something. I will call my colleagues and take decision. Yani there will be a very strong action. Let me play out the bite of the Chief Minister of Manipur and Biren Singh again.
Wasak logo state amagi chief minister amoina madugi responsibility to salubuni state si wathong mai kini adugi adagi delhi dagi monitoring tawrakanda Jiribam gi da thoiba thok tu yamna nungai taba thok do yamna ka henjama thok do gebadagi ai jiri gi praja singh kai live the mobile the live wari sabani wari sarakanda moigi ada leiriba awaba nungai taba do rokanda ai nong ni manungda ai lakani aduga ada noi gi yum leibam sabam leitriba khotriba tawbi mayam dai DC ne kaina khoi mayam laga phajana I singani ana haibani mada praja singdun harau jabani madugi ai hayengla hangsila gi convenient oiraga ai satke aduna I singa si ada mayam gi lehori loina sem si ate adu ai Manipur gi thoi beirang ai khoi gi sina lubani nai halaga lakbani on the way lakpa kanda sumaina ai gi advance convoy team chatpadu ambush tawre na lakpa ai thajadabani adugo ai sila ai si khoi gi driver ru maning dagi pala kana noi maru na pale lai khadna huju maki oina di kidang phari ai na sida haining basi state government nahangai khoi tawya ba khar tawraga yam ka henai khoi retaliate tawde yaringai khoi dum bhat tanadana understanding ama lakadra khotkadra ori otai sanabagi lambi su mayam leibani na haidna khoi leibani adubu moigi mawong mato sidi state government pandrabadona so government ama leitrabadona tawbagi mawong lakpasida ayam thina aingonda yamna nungaite yam line state ki machineries mayam state ki leiriba port mayam si yam line khan dongna yamna usitha hoidabagi mawong da karim kathaina bagi yam toin tawi adu khanga lakpani adu huji khoi government kari tawgadage haibadu sabchana anadagi di khoi kharagra yam sengna haige Manipur gi praja singda khoi maseni amani bhap tanarakadra hanjannarakadra haibigo akhal khoi leirambani adu Manipur gi Biren gi nataba Manipur gi chief minister amagi convoy advance party da khud tharak pai bese directly CM da attack torok panena lawe aduna akan mamong da I condemn towi masidai da sarkar lepkadaba kanano sarkar gi mayok leigdaba kanano idu prasasang lepiro ai khoi karigum khara rule of law state sida hanjal lakhngaba nahangai khara mayai gi part dil tawraga so adu honagani ai public mayam gi support nei jari it is hiro
Sure. How do you take this type of attack? Do you really think is a personal attack to the Chief Minister of Manipur and such type of actions that has been done? So how are you going to return?
This is very unfortunate and highly condemnable, and it is an attack directly on the Chief Minister, means directly on the people of the state. So state government has to do something. So I will take a call of my all colleagues and I will take a decision.
On the other hand, you see the presence of the security advisor out here, you see has been running out the state fund also. 2,40,000 per month and along with other things. What is the requirement of such who has been silent and can't do anything?
On that matter, that is the internal of the government. I don't want to comment it.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented.